just gonna hit record here. Whoa, whoa, what is going on here? There's like different videos playing. How you guys doing? Ben, what's up, man? Vince posting a video too? Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Actually, I want to see. I can't. Why? Why? All right. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, a lot of the times I'm gonna mute the videos that are being sent, but I think for the animated on twos, we'll probably use the audio on that. Your video has no volume. Oh, all right, cool, 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 cool. Okay, um, I'm just double checking something here. Let's look at that animated one first, just because of the sound stuff. And we'll go to this. So it's on twos, and I was wondering like why does it feel so? Let me check volume here. Yeah. What are you asking me, huh?
As a favor.
A favor?
Not to go through with this, okay?
We're going through with this.
This is only gonna end up bad for you.
No, it's gonna end up bad for you.
It's gonna end up bad for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this. Now I'm
What the hell? Casey. You gonna be okay? Okay, so this is pretty cool. I don't the acting skills.
No.
So when you're, I mean, of course we're gonna go through this a little slowly, but when he's getting ready to say something, oh, thank you, Martin, for the resub. Dude, 14 months, that's crazy. When he's getting ready to say something, you have like animation that's occurring right before it's emphasized, so you're getting this like kind of build up in motion to the sound actually, the sound payoff.
Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
It's pretty cool, man. Um, let's see here. I guess the only thing I would say is there's the character in position isn't moving around too much. Maybe that's just me. The side look, yeah, this part right here, because there's all these like subtleties that have to happen in order for you to believe that the character is actually the character. It's not just an animation with audio, right? It's actually present, aware, looking at things. There's all those little small subtleties. Yeah, the flow is a little too consistent. Yeah, so like speeding up, accentuate pauses and speed up some swipes. So like putting a hand up and then holding it for longer and then delivering the point could be good.
Not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you.
See, because he could have his hand up earlier and then hold it for just like half a second longer before doing the point. But yeah, that's some good feedback actually. But cool. That is super cool. First time we've critiqued animations on here, I think. Let me switch to something for me, and then we shall continue onward. Okay. So, critiques, let's go. It's good. Everything is good. We've got a handful of stuff to go through. So first up, we've got Adam, or Bronze Gear. We've been looking at this scene quite a bit as well. I'm gonna just I'm gonna copy this, and let me just make sure this is gonna paste the right image. Yeah, cool. Okay. So I haven't used the tablet with oh yeah. How do I zoom though? And I just like, oh, okay, there we go. Nice. All right. Yeah, this is turned out really nice. I really like. Let's check some colors here. Um, that's probably not the best color to be picking for this scene. Maybe we'll go with like a pink here. Let me just see here. All right. I need to go a little smaller. I need more presets, more saved brush sizes. So I love this. The roughness breakup on the floor. The the value difference between this like cloth piece and the wood is quite close right now. So I think be a bit careful with that. Yeah, that I will agree the chair is floating right now, but I have seen it in shadow, so I think you're actually just not you just haven't rebaked your shadows. Because last time I looked at this, there was a shadow there. Because if I remember correctly, you have a spotlight that's casting this way, and that's the only baked lighting. The rest is going dynamic. Um, let's so we got P for pen. I'm like learning this thing. Um, and E for erase. So P and E. Nice. All right, cool. So the recent addition is this peeling away of the wallpaper, which I'd said I thought looked a little too extreme, right? I think if you were to actually, so here's the shape of the wall, and by getting rid of this like straight edge by using the wallpaper, you can actually, so if you think about this edge here being more like this, then you can do the curl and get like a nice connection there without it going so like block out looking with the curve. Because like with this type of straight curve, you already have these types of curves happening, or these lines. So breaking that up, which is following the framing of it, is going to be much better, I think. So you can kind of essentially go into this territory, and that'll frame really nicely as well with the lighting. Especially if you want to see the wallpaper a little bit more, look at the value of this wallpaper, the color on the back. Maybe you can lighten it. Maybe you can put a little bit of a like a light source up here that gives you a little highlight along the edge of this. Not too much, of course, because you don't want it to be. What's the highlighter hotkey? There is none. But yeah, I think a highlight on the edge there could be beneficial just to kind of get it to pop a little bit. Just watch out for it taking over the shot. Um, I think the only other feedback I would give is maybe hmm, I think you're actually fine. It's quite a warm scene, but I do like how you've placed the candles around and it's kind of giving this ambient light because you get these really nice like moments where you get little highlights from this light source, right? You're getting these like cool little highlights from it, and you can see again with the light source here, you get like hits here, a little bit there, some up here, and this. Really nice for showing off your materials as well. Because like before, a lot of that stuff was being was hidden in your scene. Yeah, and these guys, I imagine you're planning on removing these, right? I feel like there's supposed to be like a doormat here, you know, or maybe on the outside. I don't know, but really nice, really nice. Oop, what is that? What is this one V? Yeah, I haven't really used Miro with this type of setup before. Well, actually, I'm gonna post this one in chat. So this one's from Ollie. Yeah, this brick looks nice as well. So if we copy this image, this one's from Ollie. We'll just grab this. Oh boy, resolutions. Okay. So I think Ollie, honestly, I think some of these are worth posting. If you're trying to like, back to lurking, if you're trying to expand your portfolio a little bit, I would totally post these. This one is actually my favorite. This is like my number one. Um, this one feels a bit uh, generic, just in the shape language, but I mean, you were just replicating the shapes that you're seeing in here. Um, this one I really like. We actually see a lot of surfaces like this one. I do like this. You see a lot of surfaces like this in Sweden, like this, and then same with this one. Oh, even this one. So I really like these. So I actually wanted to give a little bit of feedback when it comes to this like tinfoily looking. Yeah, the roughness breakup on this is really nice, and I think if there was more of that type of information going on in here, that could be really nice. I think seeing it in context too could make it stronger as well. Like seeing it against a wall like this, and then just having a chair would be really nice. But you can see with this, let's get like a color we can see. We'll really shrink this down. Okay, so with yours, I'm seeing a lot of these size of shapes. Let's highlight a couple of these. You can see they're all very similar in size. The ones I'm highlighting. This one's a little bigger, and then we've got this one, and then this one. So you can see that shape language for the shapes that I'm seeing. These are the details. Whereas in this one, you're getting like these, but then you're getting this like longer one. There's some similar ones, but there's also these really long details. And I don't know if it's like the way it's being localized in designer is causing it to unify a bit more to like common shapes. But you can see how long, even if you just got a few of these longer pulls. I don't even know if that's what you would call it, but it gives you a bit more like see like these are pulled in a direction. This one's like this big, and then there's like these smaller ones, these broken up. So it's just kind of getting that variety where they kind of mix up. It's not a very complex setup. I think something more mesh like as a base would be better. Yeah. You feel like there's too much noise in the second image. You mean this one? Hmm. I mean, I drew over both of them. I think my favorite though is this one because I'm always like a big fan of like the contrast in roughness and seeing like these like little breakup pieces. Like it's really nice, and you get these like multiple points of highlights. You get this one here and then this one. I think if you were able to get a highlight that went a little further down the side here, you could get some like nice in shadow, but then a light source that's reflecting on the material. Yeah, the bottom one's the reference. You see that little person there? Little tiny person. Oh, this is really cool. And yeah, it's really all about context because I think when I look at this one, you've got like here's the reference, right? You've got this top piece, and then it looks like there's a line here, and then there's the bottom piece. So there's like two. So this pattern, let's say, is tiling once, and then this pattern here is tiling twice to get the smaller details, and then this one is just panels. And then I guess there's because it looks like it's a dancing school. There's like a rail here, and so maybe those panels are actually even longer. Maybe it's actually like this. Yeah, it's a nice sense of scale and a reference, and I think if you can bring that type of stuff into your materials, again, I think it's all about the context, right? The context of the material that you're using, or the context of the material that you're making. Because like here, I think that's a fire alarm, so I'm gonna assume that's quite high up. So like people are maybe down here. There's no like scale reference in that one, but like even if you could model a basic speaker and just stick it on here, so nice, so nice. But very cool. I think these are still worth putting on your portfolio. Let's just bring that over there. Okay, Cairo. Let's go. Holy resolution. Just gonna bring this in here. I don't think I lose resolution. I can still zoom in. Well, at least until 400. Let's do that. So, Cairo, you were like doing some new designer stuff and thought, any thoughts on the wall? Material, composition, ideas, anything goes. Okay. Is there a way to like make this darker? Oh man, no, 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 no. I wonder if I can. Maybe I can put a shape over it. And then just like no frame. And then a color. There we go. There we go. Cheats. So if we break this up into simple shapes, just to kind of look at the composition, let's do that. How big is this? Okay. Yeah. So if we have this here, right, and then we've got another object. Oh man, this is gonna be tedious clicking through this. So we've got the wall here, right, and then you've got this prop. You got some objects down here. I think that's a yeah. So object there, and then we'll go back to the pink for this. Oops, this piece here. And then if we look at the tree, this is the part. This is why the whole reason I wanted to highlight this. So you've got a tree here, and the branch going out like this. Some stuff going here. So this tree is quite centered. And everything is kind of tapering down on this side. So like you can see like the height here of the wall and the height here, it's shrinking down, right? Fonzus, what's up, man? How you doing? You changed your mind about what? Yeah, so the wall is very clean, but let's look at this tree first. So the tree is very centered, right? It's super centered in the image. I think if the tree was either, I feel like it'd be over here because then you could follow the same type of taper. Actually, let's do this. I'm just gonna lock that, lock that. We're gonna just grab this one. If the tree was over here, then you could use the branches out this way, and then you get to see the sky over here. You get to see more trees, and just compositionally, I think it might be a little bit stronger. It's grown on you. Nice. Yes, yes. Uh, win for mustache team. Amazing. So there's that when it comes to composition. The other thing I was gonna say is watch out for the grass edge here being too simple. Remember that grass can be really protected around the edges of things, whereas like the rest can kind of get worn down by either the elements or people um, mowing the lawn and whatnot. So you get more grass around here, and it would be pretty protected behind here. So you can tell a bit of a story with the grass, you know, and like kind of where it's building up. And you can see naturally I just accidentally almost evenly spaced out all of these little details of the grass. something to watch out for. Uh, but yeah, if you can get that type of detail going in the breakup of your grass, that's going to help with making it look much more natural. And then the last thing I would say, so the wall, of course, very clean right now. I assume that the wall does not have a texture on it yet, just because it's that clean. If you want it to be clean like this, you need to add elements in that help ground it inside of the scene, so it doesn't look like it's just not textured yet. I don't know if that's the case, so we're just gonna just flat gray for now. Yeah, okay, cool. I do like that it's lighter, right? So like when you do start texturing it, think about the color of this the dirt and like how that plays a role in the gradient of like the wall meeting the ground, because that'll also help you integrate it further into the scene, right? But don't lose the value difference that you have between this, because right now the wall pops, but it's not like even in without the overlay on top to darken it, it's not too bright to me. And remember to add some leaves in there. You know, get some leaves sticking on stuff. Maybe a leaf got caught here. Some leaves in the grass. But pretty cool. Moss. I don't know if moss would be in this scene. It doesn't feel like a place that would have moss. Maybe some dry lichen like moss. I'm not sure. Wicked dry. Looks like, yeah, it looks a little dry. Yep. Oh no, why? There we go. Yeah, it does feel quite dry to me. There's like with all the little details that you have here, you're gonna want to add like the micro information, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does feel a little Spanish. Like it feels quite warm. Quite warm there. Okay. On to you, Casey. Let's see what's going down. Dude, these are huge. So right off the bat, with these types of renders, I would pull this in, right? Does that copy over from? It does. Impressive. So I'm just gonna grab the renders that feel the most interesting to me. You posted 6 images. And what I'm feeling is you should probably, when you're displaying this piece, you should think about it like how people display weapons. Arcanite Reaper. Yeah, Cairo, that this looks good, man. This is looking it's looking nice. You wanted to get into the post quickly? Yeah, so okay, so when it comes to presentation, totally try and treat it like how people present weapons. I think that'd be really cool. So first, let's talk. I think I'm gonna try and unify this a bit. Let me see if I can. So first, we talk geometry, right? So we'll go geometry. Then we'll talk materials, and then presentation. So the GMP. We'll start calling it GMP. And if you guys ever are like, hey, what's the GMP on this? Then I'll know exactly what to go to, right? So geometry, material, presentation. Classic GMP. GIMP. Yes, so as far as geometry goes, right now we've got some, we should actually, hang on here. Hang on. If we're coming up with the design for this whole GMP thing, I'm just going to make these, we're going to go with red. I'm going to go with a green and a blue, of course, right? So G, M P, right? So geometry, material, presentation, as I press M. So when it comes to geometry, right now in this area, like this is feeling pretty sharp. So you're gonna watch out for how sharp these get. Especially this one right here. Like that's super like bing, you know? Watch out. Watch out. And just because you're going for a spike doesn't mean that the spike needs to be straight or be going straight out in a normal sense. You can bend these, right? You can add a cut and kind of like don't go too extreme, but just enough to like steer it away from geometrically straight edges, even if it is tapering into like more of a cone. Um, let's see what else we got going on geometry wise here. These edges feel super sharp to me, and I guess that's the idea, right? So maybe it is okay. Hmm. So geometry wise, you've got a thickness going on here that's pretty consistent across the body. It could be interesting to start with a thickness here that tapers to like half of that as it goes, right? So it like thins out. So it's not like of course it's like a guitar body is tends to be like that. But you know on like some guitars you'll have like this shape here. But then somewhere around here they just take this and by the time it goes from here to here, it's half the thickness. So it like thins out. You could do that, which would allow for a little bit more of a uh, wooden feel. So like from here to here, these are two different. Like it starts tapering down. So if you were to imagine this from a side view, it'd be something like here's the body, and then it goes down, and then goes to the edge. So and this this to this is this length here. It's like the depth changes. Yeah, the thickness of the asset changes. Let's see what else we got going on here. Geometry wise, I'm not sure how the wood is connected to this metal. So getting something in here to help like connect it somehow could be good. Right now it just looks like it's kind of melting together, which can be a little confusing. Up here it's not so much of a problem because you've got other details that are helping like connect it and ground it. But let's look at material. So with material, right now you've got metal and a wood material, right? And some, I mean, I guess it's some other metal types as well. Uh, and getting the a contrast between these two in roughness is going to be really important. And you're getting it here, which is great. You've got like a nice highlight here. So I'm assuming the roughness on this metal piece is probably somewhere around like 0.4 or so, whereas the wood's somewhere more around like 0.7 or zero point 0.8. And that's pretty cool. With the with that in mind though, think about like with the patterns that are in here, I can tell that you're using a like a it's heavy metal. I can tell you're using a pattern inside of here. That's like an alpha, right? So the details are kind of following a flow. I would try to build it more in line with like the design of the shape that it's fitting into, right? So thinking about like this detail here, maybe that can be happening here. And then from there you can build out, maybe use the same part of the alpha here. It's just trying to integrate it more so that it feels right. The highlights that are happening on the edges here are they are broken up. Like there's a gap here where it's not really happening, but where it is happening is very consistent in the same size. So like think about how to break that up. So like maybe it's happening, but it's not always uh, occurring in a solid piece when it does. You know, breaking that up, getting those edges to clean out a little bit. And then these dark spots here. I'm not sure what that is. Like these, I can't really explain those in the material sense. Chipped edges of the blade too. Yeah, definitely getting some like that goes back to like the geometry where you just add a few chips every once in a while, just silhouette changes. Um, yeah, and then when it comes to presentation, like I was saying, it's going to be a lot of like understanding how to frame it so that it looks cool in the way that you display the guitar itself. And I think the way that it's presented with weapons right now on ArtStation, the kind of like trend we're seeing with like the dual side views or like seeing it like pointed towards itself and it's twice, there's two of them, or and getting some like really interesting light play along the surface of of all of the roughness differences you've got going on here. Like if you get a light here, I'd love to see like little highlights of the pickups versus like the wood and seeing a bit more of the grain in the roughness itself. So getting those nice glancing angles. You know how like a lot of people when they look at a guitar, sometimes they'll look down the length of it? That could be a really interesting angle to look at. Um, but yeah, dark dirt is my guess. I don't want to go too different in the roughness variation in the wood. I think right now there's some variation happening in the albedo, and that might be able to happen in the roughness instead, so that that variation makes itself apparent when you get the glancing angles of the lighting. Right, that could be a good way of going about it. But it's pretty cool, and I don't think you're gonna need too many renders. I don't think you're gonna need too many renders of this asset. Just we'll leave this here like that. Cool, cool, cool. Casey, hopefully that was helpful, man. Okay. Am I able to... Does this work? Yo, that's awesome. Okay. Oh, no, I can't click away, though. Can we... There we go. Give me some, give me some of that HD. So there's a good amount of movement in there. Can I just, like... Hang on here. Like, screenshot that. Oh my god. The experience with video in here is pretty rough, I'm not gonna lie. So you're having some really nice movement here. That's really pretty, man. Vince, this is some really nice work. And you're getting the scene to pop more. Now I think when it comes to your lighting, which I guess in this sense, I guess lighting would be presentation. Man, that blue is going to be difficult to see, but we'll do it with maybe a lighter blue. So you've got an edge now that's happening here, and that totally separates the structure from the backdrop, right? So you're getting much more depth. You've got a nice like cool value happening here and here and here. Really nice to see these like subtle highlights happening on your surfaces. This looks super nice. There's a bit more rhyme and reason or organization to like your propping logic. It doesn't feel as like haphazard. And while we can't see it in this screenshot, these pieces of these flyer ticketer things, I don't know what you call these. they're moving around quite a bit, but the rest of the scene is not as busy. So it might be a question of like how much these are moving versus like the fern and the ivy details. So be careful with like in your shaders like how much that this type of detail is moving around. There is some elements as well. You can see these pieces here. These are quite close to the camera. They're quite close to the camera and about in the same spot. I would maybe this sounds a little crazy, but taking these pots and shapes and just framing them around the edge could be pretty cool. As I try and draw a pot, I can't do it right now. But something that's here, right? Maybe a bit of grass coming out of the corner here, and then maybe a whole like shape of pots along the edge here, and they just can be dark. They can be in silhouette. They don't have to be completely black, but like they could be sitting in kind of the same kind of tone as is like this area. Um, but yeah, I mean overall everything is looking pretty solid. Let me just check it here again. I think the only thing left that kind of bugs me is that the ivy all moves around as one, so it's kind of swimming like an ocean, or like that it's underwater. As long as that's quite subtle, or you add enough noise to it, it should shimmer a little bit, which can kind of break that illusion. But very nice scene. This has turned out super well. The lights being in front of the windows is still really strong. This one's not as bad, but this one's like super bright. It's super bright. And I can understand that you want to like highlight these details and like get all of this stuff to pop out. But really cool. Yeah, lights. It's hard. Dude, lights are not easy. I do like the light that's back here and that kind of streams out this way. If this had like a faster fall off, so that way you go to more of the ambient light of the environment sooner, you would get a separation between this and this a little better. But really cool. Really cool scene. Everything's quite unified as well, which is nice to see. Gillo. Gillo's up next. How you doing? Whoop. We're gonna get faster at this, I swear. Let's copy this image. Paste. Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, when you open it, holy crap. Dude, look at that. So I don't have much reference on this. But detail-wise, that's super nice. You didn't ask for any specific feedback either, so is this the Enigma machine? Or it's yeah, it's a code breaker device. So geometry wise, we're looking pretty good. Um, is this outside shell? Is that leather? What is this? No, that's a metal. Okay. I think really bending this up a bit would help. So if you've got like this metal here, and you give it a bit of a wobble, that's probably going to help you out when it comes to the shapes and details. The other piece though, that's also metal. So this area is super dark. This is more of a material thing. Um, so this area is super dark. I'm not sure what that is. And then material wise, how this breakup is occurring and like what type of breakup that is, it's going to be important to identify what that is even when it's in shadow like that. It looks like it's just chipping. I'm not sure how to read that. And I mean, this being too dark is likely just the albedo is just too dark because this area feels pretty good, right? That's nice. So this area probably just needs to be a little closer to this. Yeah, because see, especially when you close it, they are quite close. So I'm not sure what's causing the darkness here. It might just be the lighting, or if you baked it with the ambient occlusion uh, closed, when you open it, if there's no light hitting the side of this, then you'll actually be seeing more of the ambient occlusion on the inside because it's in shadow. You think some AO would help? Yeah, and I think that I think there isn't any AO in here because the AO would really help in like separating out elements and like showing you the deeper cores of stuff. So you get more volume and shape to it. That's why I'm like, is this AO? Because it's really dark. Especially here. This is also super dark. Um, but when it's shut, there's light hitting this. Is this a, this looks like it's a dent. Interesting. Oh, there's some keys here too. Man, that's cool. There's some nice details in here. The attention to detail is really nice. Presentation, I would say, is quite good. Uh, at least there's a gradient in the background. Sal, what's up? How you doing? It's a dent. Yeah, cool. So there's a gradient in the background, which helps. I've always been a big fan of taking the same prop and just duplicating it, putting it behind it, and then blurring it. Yeah, this looks like it's marmoset, and ray trace ambient occlusion doesn't look like it's too prominent here if that's what's going on. I mean, there looks like there might be a little bit there, but it's really, ambient occlusion is super hard to see when everything is very lit. You know what I mean? When if there's a bunch of light everywhere, it gets difficult to see AO. But other than that, I mean, putting it on a table, like or a wooden surface, would really help. This feels really thin as well. If we go back to geometry feedback, this is super thin. This edge. I'm not sure what this is. It doesn't feel like it's being lit uh, in a way where like the material reads really well. So watch out for that. And then when it comes to presentation, it's just a matter of really of like grounding this. Either a reflective surface, putting like a wood table or a wood material that it's sitting on. You could go onto a marketplace and just grab some cups and stuff. Just something to break up the asset just floating out there in space. Material wise, going back to materials for a second here, there's a lot of wear that's happening throughout here, and I think if you localize the wear to areas where it would make sense, and like maybe this is like a high tension point just because it's where it's thin, this would also be a high tension point. Same with this area here, and those could really show like repeated use by the hand. I don't know if that's turned or twisted or anything like that, but when that happens, uh, you're getting a lot of oil and grease onto that metal, and that's going to change the color of the metal. You know, so showing that usage through that through your materials tells stories and whatnot. It might be worth also in your materials down in this area to just like get some pieces of paper or some like just some debris that's kind of built up on the bottom here. Maybe a dust pass or something just to kind of cake the inside there. But really nice asset, honestly. Really nice. You have W and X wrong. No, thanks for posting on the cogs. Really? Wait, what do you mean? Oh, XWY. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, check that out. Man, that's some fine detail you got going on there. Got him. Nothing gets past Polygon. Oh man. Oh, Costas. Uh, context only the desk and the weapon are properly textured. Oh right, I was gonna give you some feedback actually on this one real quick here. This one. Let's copy this image. There we go. Paste. So of course it's a little dark right now, as you can see. But I want to know what is this material? What is this? Because I can't tell. It kind of feels like a stone. I can see some metal elements in here, but it feels like stone. But I know it's not supposed to be stone. Burnt cookie. Nice. Looks like a struggle to open. Maybe. These candles feel really scaled up as well. So when it comes to, I think this would go in the modeling territory. But when it comes to these lines and the drips and all that stuff, keep in mind the scale of it, right? So even though these are really big, it's still gonna have the really small, the same size of drips, right? The material is still gonna melt the same way. It's just really big, and that'll help imply how large they are by that fact. But yeah, and maybe you just scaled these up, and that's why we're having this discussion right now. Also, who would put such fine work at the back inside of a bookshelf, but then place a bookshelf in front of a window? But place a bookshelf in front of the artwork. What? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I can't really make out this material. I'm not sure what the material is when I look at it. Like there's some detail that's happening back here. It's strange to see a lantern up there. I know you want to like light the shot so that you can see, but this might just be because of the nature of like how dark it is. Yeah, the carving inside it does feel weird, Pontus. I agree. What time am I cutting submissions? I just saw in chat. In maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It depends on how many messages come through. If there's a flood of them right now, then I probably will cut the submissions. You posted already? All right, cool. And you didn't delete that message? How dare you? Whoop. That's enough English for me. That's good, Pontus. Let's copy this one. I want to look at this image really fast. Okay, so when we look at this one, so when you're focusing over here, compositionally, it's all very dark, right? And this shouldn't be too dark. I think it's okay. Maybe more in this range to be able to see something going on back there. But the reality is this is the focal point, right? This is what we're supposed to be looking at. So when you focus in on this area over here, of course it needs to look pretty good. But if you're gonna focus on it this closely, you would have to address this, which would change a lot of the overall scene. Um, so just it is dark enough that you focus on it for sure. I do like how dark it is behind this because the focus is here. So that's nice. But yeah. Sal, you post in the there's a if you look in the Discord in the announcements channel, you'll see a link. All right, Martin. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on here. So here's a new environment I've been working on. Let's just go something like that maybe. Here's a new environment I'm working on. Everything is still in blockout, but I would love to hear your thoughts. See, right away, I'm a huge fan of the fact that you're blocking all this stuff out and you're putting some. I mean, I don't know if these are the colors that's going to happen here. You see like there's different colors for each one of these, but I appreciate that you're blocking everything out because now you can look at the entire scene and like really focus in on, hey, thanks Polygon. Dude, 18 months, that's crazy. Pog indeed. Um you can really focus on the composition and get the like look, you're already doing lighting. You know what I mean? Like you're skipping so far ahead in so many things that are actually giving you value because you're blocking everything out and propping the scene already. So everything is like the way it's lit right now, it already brings focus to the bus or the van, I guess. I don't know. It's it's huge. Yeah, and if you use the colors that you know are like going to be the average of like oh yeah, the car is going to be this color, then you can immediately start to even at blockout stage start balancing the composition and making choices that are relevant at blockout. Like that's huge. The other thing that it helps you do when you get to this blockout stage is like it lets you know how many unique assets you're going to need. I think you might be breaking it a little bit depending on like if you know what all of these pieces are. I imagine these are like little signs. But knowing what all of these are is going to be really important to maintaining an understanding of how many assets you're actually going to need to make. Do blocking out, I would say, is maybe 30% of the work when it comes down to it. Maybe 20%, 25%, but it's super valuable. It's based on this concept. What are we looking at here? Aha! I see now. I see now. Dude, that backdrop behind the that's awesome with the license plates. So the I think let me copy this. Oh no, every time. There we go. So I finally found something I don't like about Miro. When you select an object, let's duplicate this one. If you go in and copy an image and you're gonna paste it in here, if you select something and paste, it actually replaces it, which is terrifying. And you can get into a weird scenario where you can't undo what you've just replaced. But you look at it and you're like, okay, this is you're already hitting so many notes when it comes to like what we're seeing here. I think the only things that you're missing right now is there's a bit. This hit me the other day. I do like 50% of the scene, then do a block out and realize all this crap and start a new scene. Why is my portfolio empty? I feel you, man. I feel that struggle. I've been there. So there's a highlight happening here. Let's we're going to highlighters. Let's go. So there's this highlight here. There's this piece that's kind of going across. And then there's some little wires, right? And it looks like you've got some connection points for the wires. I would block those wires in. Sounds crazy? Just go for it. Because it's going to inform you of some other smaller things that you might not know about yet. These little cables. Maybe not this one down here, but these little guys, those are going to tell you a lot. I think, anyways. Insta win. Insta win. And, yeah. But let's see what else you're asking for. Improve anything in terms of scale, composition, color. I guess we were kind of touching on it a bit already. Um, okay, so this is this an Unreal 5? Because one thing, so you're blocking out colors and whatnot, right? When you can block out, it's UE4 with RTX. Cool, 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 cool. When you block out stuff with color like this, that's great. If you can also push the block out, let's see if we can. You can see there's metal in here, right? That ring in the block out of this tire. Just get the metal in there. Separate it out as a ID or just like a separate mesh to give it a different material and get metal in there because metal is also going to greatly affect your ray tracing and the overall perceived image you're seeing. You can just make a generic metalness that you can keep instancing off of and just shift the colors around and make it unique per scenario just to balance it out because like that's something that's gonna start pulling attention. Like you can see there's quite a bit of metal down here and then there's metal over here, right? So like anything you block out, if it's kind of metal, just make the block out metal. And in this scenario, the tires, I would just make like a poly for a separate mesh for the ring of the metal in there. I think it'll help you a lot. But other than that, I mean, that's looking pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing progress on that. Okay. Gallo, I think I'm saying that right. Gallo Martin. Sizen. Oliver. Hello. Let's get you this community tag. Let's bring this over. Boop. Look at that. Oof. Look at that. Man, that's looking cool. And here is the reference. I'm just gonna double click on this and clip this here. Man, one thing I love about that clip is like you don't ever lose it. So you can do image breakdowns really quickly if you need to from one image. Okay, so let's grab these. So this is pretty cool. I'm seeing it. I'm in. I'm down. Let's highlight some things, shall we? Shall we? Shall we? Okay. So these guys, they're about a quarter of the thickness of these ones. I would get that thickness in there. Not the best camera angle from my part. Nah, you're good. You're good. Um, but yeah, I would thicken those out a bit. Yeah, this might be leaning forward. I'm not sure yet, but you can see this under area here is kind of like cut in, and the green, this jade looking paint goes under this piece, right? So I would probably look into taking this bottom area here and putting it under this top part. You can see it gets into shadow under there. Uh, yeah. Let me see what else we got going on here. The other thing is, are you are you planning on texturing this stylized like this? Because I would, if you are, I would suggest using the bake of the high poly to inform your textures. Ash, no, I won't. Dude, I don't have time, man. It's yeah, I won't have time for that. Um, I gotta work with you guys and do our community challenges. You see, we got fireworks this time, man. Freaking fireworks. But yeah, so when we look at the materials and all of the like detail work you're putting in here, like you could actually just grab this piece here, this piece, and just dupe it over here. You don't need to resculpt it, right? But when it comes to all this sculpted detail you got going on there, I would try and use it to inform the way you're texturing, not necessarily to use the normal from it directly on the model. Like, oh, look, now I got a normal map on it. You could try having the normal map or maybe like lowering the strength of it. But I think that some of the best stylized work that I've seen that uses ZBrush is using the high poly model to inform the masks that are being created in Substance Painter to get the texture detail, right? Because you can use the curvature and the cavity maps, and you can use the directional channel information from the normal to inform like a top down lighting scenario that's in the texture itself. Silas stuff loves super low normal and even a bit scrambled one. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I think the tentacle video series that I have on my YouTube channel, I think in the end we actually almost completely removed the normal that we had sculpted and baked out, but used it a whole lot when we were texturing and getting the colors. But while you're texturing this, do not forget about gradients. Gradients are key when you're texturing, like the stylized look. Because like if you look from down here to up here, you can see there's a bit of brown, and then it slowly goes away as you go up. So there's a lot of gradients that you can play with. There's a little bit of an edge here too, but I think that's more implying paint. But don't hesitate to put gradients everywhere, and then you can really like tone them down if you need to. Yeah, and Vincent's extensive bit on ArtStation's super good as well. But nice, super nice stuff. I might actually. So if you look over here, you've got some like little strands. I might put that in here, like in like to have it bake out, because you could get some interesting shadows, and as long as they're not too far away from the mesh, they should bake to the surface quite nicely. Um, I don't think you need to go that far, but you could try it if you wanted to get that type of fidelity. Okay, next up, Sandy. Holy cow, Sandy, that looks pretty cool. Let's get this in here. Asking for a friend, modeled and rendered. Wait, so this isn't yours? This is a friend's? You gotta get your friend in here, man. That rope's amazing, dude. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. He's here now. I told him, hello, hello, friend. Hello. Hang on. Hello. Welcome. Okay. So, rendered in Maya using V-Ray. Original concept is here. I'm gonna just click that. Howdy, Sheriff. Just gonna copy that image shamelessly. Man, a lot of this is gonna be lighting. That's for sure. Okay. So when we look at this scene, you'll notice your camera seems to be a little bit higher than the camera here. There's also a bit of an FOV difference. I think if you can match the FOV of the camera, like I would save a camera position, right? And from there, try and line it up, get the FOV right where you pull the wall closer to you. There's some color stuff going on here for sure. Let's what are we looking at here? Okay, so you have a color here and then color here. It's like two very, and then they blend together, as they go through here. You've also got some light coming out of the doorway here. You can see how big this door looks by comparison of yours, and it literally, I think it's the FOV. Just pulling that in is going to help. But what I'm seeing a lot of is actually scale stuff. Gotta love the scale. I'm just going to grab this. So you can see the chair and the height of the height of the table to the chair. And you see the height of your chair to the underside of the table, making sure that those give you enough room to scoot in so that your legs are under there. There's so many like little tiny things that I like to point out. So like where you have this, there's this space here and then the edge. Getting that space right and the scale and all those details, like the thickness of this and the thickness of this, getting those to match is going to be super important. Um, let's see what else we got going on here. The 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 blackboard in the back is pretty nice. Definitely get the rest of your details in here before you continue forward with like texturing and all that, and check all of the scale on everything. So you want camera matching with FOV, scale check, model, all the rest, all other intended to use assets. What else do we got going on here? So the windows feel quite naked, right? And I think getting the blinds up top with the little string is going to do a lot. So getting that stuff there as well. Um, Russia, yo, hello. About choked on my own voice. That was crazy. Yeah, you see, you've got like the value here is very dark. This value. Be careful with how dark this is. And I wouldn't steer too far away from what you're seeing. Like, I don't know what is this? Interesting. But yeah, remember there's all these props here. You got a little light switch here. Anything to give you scale is going to be good. There's this chair, which doesn't match any of the other chairs. I don't know where that chair came from. But, relics. Holy whoa, what? Holy wow months. 35 months. Relics. Dude, thank you very much. You're now the co-founder of a new simulation company, and all of my work has been approved. Thanks. Dude, that's awesome. Congrats to you, man. See, this is why I can't do challenges. I need to push you guys, not the challenges. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Uh, let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, I think a lot of it is FOV and scale. Once you nail these, the next thing will be lighting. And this like painterly look, if you want to get that look, you're going to try and use Nuke to get the colors better by using render passes. I don't think render passes directly will help you with that. It does give you some control to be able to do some other things. But just a good solid lighting pass is going to get you really far, and then you can use nuke to tweak the values more. Um, Also, this dirtiness that's on the wall, try not to. I don't think it's supposed to be abandoned. It does look like it got abandoned, but like just recently. Like everyone just left. Or it's like recess time. Right? Dude, Relic, congrats, man. That's crazy. And look at how much bounce light's happening. Check the resolution on your shadows for your is this baked lighting? Because I wonder if it's baked lighting, there's gonna be some resolution work you're gonna have to do on like the Remy, what's up? How you doing? On the how high res the light map is on the floor. It's V-Ray? Oh, thank you. That's really weird then. I see how it's V-Ray now. This looks like such a bug. Hmm. Okay, well, wait. Hang on. There's this crazy thing here. Whatever that is. Like there's a bunch of like little story props that are happening. Ooh. There's also the height of this desk and where the underside of the blackboard is. You can see so much more of what's behind the desk. And the desk actually looks lower. Because I think once you lower the camera, it's going to become even more apparent. This concept's weird. There's like weird scale stuff going on in this concept now that I'm looking at it closer. But yeah, uh, keep an eye out for all these little extra details, and make sure to not ignore the ceiling. Too many people ignore ceilings. Um, don't do that. Hopefully that was helpful. Oh no. All right, Ziolito. This looks like that engine factory in Last of Us, or the generator scene. This looks pretty good. This is looking pretty nice. I think you might have a. I mean, the details are looking really nice, but I think you may have jumped ahead a little bit depending on like how full the scene needs to be of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's. Ooh, I may have just discovered a hack. Hang on, I have to try it really fast. If I want to match the size, is that gonna work? So let's say I want all my images to be this size. If I just copy and duplicate this, and then go to the other one, copy this, and then select this one and paste it, we're gonna stay that size. That's interesting. Okay. It became useful again, that feature. Uh anyways, so let's scale this up now. So I can try and keep these images consistent in scale. Uh sure how so. The copy paste window on concept. Uh I'm reading chat now. Wondering what's going on in this scene. So there's not a whole lot going on. I think these are the same image. Oh right, because there's a stair. There's a stair shot. Let me copy that one. When we look at this, I feel like there's more that's supposed to be happening. Lighting wise, it looks pretty nice, and I think material wise, this feels all right. Maybe the light angle is so low that it starts to feel a little strange, But as it goes into the distance, it looks pretty good. Uh, but yeah, I'm wondering where, like, what's going on in this scene. We need story, right? We need this is hanging really low, or it feels like it's hanging really low. But like all the details up here, these feel really thin. Maybe they're supposed to be that thin. We need some reference maybe on this. Um, Blocking out everything else you need. Is there any chairs in here? Any tables? Places where there's notebooks? Does the railing end like right there? Is the thickness of that railing correct? Because it feels really thin. But the lighting looks really nice, definitely. I actually don't have too much to go off of right now. This this support beam here leads me to believe that this stuff up here needs to be bigger, and these lights could be emphasized a bit more. You could like pump the scales up on some stuff even if they're not like that in real life, just to kind of like hyper realism that jazz, you know. But I don't have too much to say on this right now. It just needs a story. I feel like it needs a story. Was there anything particular that you wanted feedback on? We need more light. Farscape. Hmm. Yeah, you can compare the railing to the mannequin's hand, and it just feels really thin. But some railing is really thin. Where can I post a reference image? Um, I mean, you could post it in the chat if that's possible, or in the thread. But I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. You just need to block out everything and try and add a story in there, because story is everything. To me, at least, I feel like story is uh, imperative when it comes to this type of stuff. All right, JC. Oh, here you go. Oh, this is a factory in Norway. So the other thing is, if you're pulling off of a reference, uh, don't hesitate to use the. Oh yeah. Oh, that's weird. Don't hesitate to use other references um, to help inform you on building a space. But these details here, it's super nice. This is going to be really cool. This is essentially a hero asset, if you want to call it that. Oh, I see the image now. Oh yeah, I mean you're nailing it. It's just yeah, it just needs to be, I don't know. It just needs to be something interesting needs to be going on, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm too picky. But that's pretty cool, man. I would block all this out. Get all those shapes in, get all the other stuff that you need in here. There's looks like there's some shelving in the back there. Anywho, we have a ton to go through, so I'm just gonna keep plowing through. Let's so Beta Razor, you're next. So I think you've finished your blockout phase. I think all the details that are here need to be here. At least, yeah. Let me think. I feel like maybe overdoing pillows and stuff could be interesting because it feels very like clean, very sterile. Yeah, what Muck is saying to the previous for this one, definitely. But hmm, this looks like a whole lot of work ahead of you. but you have it all here, and you can just focus on getting those materials on your assets and modeling out everything and getting all the bakes in. Compositionally, I think it looks pretty interesting. Framing wise, I think the way you've blocked out the like all the hanging ivy and stuff. This is this is going to be good. The tiles, yeah, the tiles look pretty nice. Because you were saying, Beta, that you're learning designer at the same time, right? This is nice stuff, man. I think getting some basic normal information on here might help, just to kind of get you a sense of like, or maybe not even normal information. If you just kind of match the roughness that you want on these like broader materials, it's gonna really help. I think kind of give you a sense of like where the highlights are gonna happen and those types of details. Is there anything you can add to fill up the scene a bit more? Yeah, this is a bit yellow. Like think about the light sources you're working with, and see if you can look up online what the Kelvin is going to be on that. Would water splash straight onto the floor? Yeah, I feel like depending on how much is happening with the water, there could be some decals for pool splatters and whatnot around the edge. To fill up the scene more, I mean, I don't think it needs too much more filling up. I would look at references, see what they're doing around the pillars, see what's hanging, um, and then like I was saying earlier, if there's more opportunities for like lower like seat pillows, similar to this, but just kind of in areas, that might be nice. I'd be careful about adding too much detail on the back walls because there's so much going on already. But I think your composition's looking pretty good. It's just a matter of like uh, getting the modeling and the materials to read. And be careful with these like really long, like artificially these CG shadows. Think about the range of this type of light source and how far it would go out, and try to work within that. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on it right now, but the composition's looking it's looking good. It's just you've got the road ahead of you of just building everything now, right? Um, let's. But I really like it. It's gonna be a cool scene. All right, Nick. Old work, but would like some feedback on how it could be improved. Let's go. You guys just got flashbangs. Man, this is cool. Ah, I did it again. So I don't think you need this text stuff in the end here. Mainly because like they know who they're looking at, you know what I mean? You could put it you could put all of your work together, and actually if you go to your portfolio in your about section, you can add a demo reel in here. But just so you know, like I don't think you need this here. You could just have it literally go from this and just have it fade to black while it's rotating. Don't let the camera stop moving. Yeah, it seems really cool. Nice. Oh, nothing better than these types of videos. So you have a clear focal point that's actually early on was competing with the Eclipse. The detail work on the ground is really nice. You're using a like a cable or a rope, I think it's a cable, to lead the eye towards the stairs. Yeah, this reveal is really nice. What I was gonna comment on with that. So we're gonna look at these two shots. So when we come in here, this edge is really sharp, and I think I could be very wrong. It looks correct down here, but the normals in this area and this area look flipped. And flip normals bring the angry face. No, the monster. Yeah, it kind of feels flipped, but I would try and get a bevel on that edge. Like you see the railing as well. You're simplifying things that can be just a little bit more complex. It's a monster mash. You're simplifying things that could be just a little bit more complex to imply a whole lot more information going on. You've got this straight line and this straight line. If there was something that you could put here, or like a box or something, you know, what are those? This thing, something, just to break that up. This pipe being so close to this edge is also very strange to me. I'd expect it maybe to be here, and then from there you go over. There's not a lot of room to explain the edge here and like how the pipe goes into the building. This is probably just me not understanding what you're building from, but like the cutout of the gun feels really strange to me. The lantern here is really cool. There's a few lanterns placed about. The scaffolding in the back here feels a little simple to me. Um, this structure in the back, the smokestacks, could probably be pushed back further with atmosphere. And when it comes to the little details on the ground, trying to clear this up just to give you a path is good. So it's maybe like taking that piece of wood, putting it here. There's something there. You've got this. And then as the camera pans over, you see really sharp edges here. Don't be afraid to bevel stuff. You know, you can bevel things. It's fine. Furnace. Furnace. Oh, this thing. That's a good question. This area feels like a blockout that got backlit. Sewer entrance. The middle piece is a place to upgrade weapons. Oh, that's cool. You're talking about the glowing ring thing that's happening down here? Or this? The gun on the wall is where you buy weapons. Oh, interesting. Okay. That makes more sense now. That's a COD zombie map. Yeah, I haven't played any of those. That explains why I'm like, what? Yeah, so this you've got a lot of cold lighting, like cool values going on. You get your warmth from these little lights, and then this, and there's a little bit back here warmth wise. If I feel like this needs to be either hidden or the detail needs to be pushed just a little bit further. Hey, thanks for the read sub. Yeah, the ground looks great. Yeah, so getting a little bit of detail to help like sell the details back here, or the silhouettes, so it's not so simplified, because it feels very block out and like kind of forgotten. And then back here, this is a good opportunity to get like, where is it? If you see this building, right? and you've got a light source here, it's a great opportunity to have that gradient. You can see it's happening on the wall, but have it go just a little bit further out because you can start catching the edges of stuff, similar to what's happening here. And you can get much more like attention drawn just that direction in general. It might even lead to some of the scaffolding getting a little bit of lighting. So you get a little bit of highlights in there. But yeah, lack of debris would lead the eye more. I agree. Super cool though. Really, overall the scene is very strong. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Look at all this awesome stuff. You gotta keep trucking along here. We got 30 minutes. Nuremberg. Is it Nuremberg? Nuremberg. How you doing? Just give me that community tag here. Oh no, I'm yawning. Oh. I mean, this is already looking pretty good. Be careful with the waist tapering in too much. Like you can use you can kind of cheat a little bit with like where the shoulders are, right? Let's do this. Yeah, you can cheat a little bit when you got the shoulders here. You can look at like where the belt line is, and then you can bring the vest, how the vest tapers out because of the stress of the belt. It can taper out just a little bit further, and that'll help frame this like this more, right? I know the angle's a little weird, so it's kind of hard to illustrate that, but I think you see what I mean. Do you want pancakes? Oh my gosh, I want pancakes. Yes. Is this you, Nini? Um, I just finished secondary detail and I'm starting tertiary details. So one thing I'm noticing is you've got the clasp here, but you've only got one. I would put one more in here. There's a few design choices you've made to change the way that like right now the strap goes this way, and it looks like it's more about going this direction. Like it goes this way, which kind of follows this whole look that's going on where everything is kind of going this direction. This looks really nice though. These details, in here, you've got a nice rounding here, but here, these edges are quite harsh. And you can see in the concept they're a bit more rounded. So getting just even a little bit of rounding in that's going to help a lot for your like the micro detail. And don't forget the pouch. I assume you're adding that. I would give this guy a bit of a belly as well. You can see it's almost like he's sucking in a little bit. So like there should be a little bit of a hang here in the front. Yeah, the concept is quite flat, right? I mean, that type of stuff always happens. The also, I think the collar actually goes quite high up the back of the neck, so keep that in mind. Like it can probably connect closer to the behind the ear. Yeah, and hairline wise, it's not as extreme. I think right now you're going quite extreme. I would just pull. I pull this in a bit more. because it's still round there, but it's probably more like that, right? Not all the way back here. But that's it's looking cool. The details are really nice. It's coming along nicely. Whoa, we're getting some hardcore critique. The shape of the superior orbital is a little too round near the nasal bone. I'm looking. Superior orbital is a little too round near the nasal bone. You're talking about this edge here? It's like really kind of caved in. I think that's what we're looking at. I'm not a character person, so nice muck. All right, this is a warm image. So right off the bat, I saw this light and it's clipping right here. So you got a clip going on there. This is cool. I like this. The curve of this should maybe be hanging a little bit more. Man, this feels like it came folded in the mail. Do you know what I'm talking about? It came folded in the mail. You kind of flattened it out. It's got a little crease there still, and it's just you just have to accept that they freaking folded it in your mailbox. And you're like, whatever, man. At least I have a calendar. So let's let's keep looking at the this plant's a little on the perfect side, but I like it. Yeah, so everything is just really pristine, right? So like this is oh, man, I wish there was a hotkey to like shrink the thickness of the pen. That would be nice. So like this is really boxy. The couch feels quite rigid, but then like the rules on like how rigid it is, because sometimes you can see a couch that's like that. It does that, right? But then here, it's flatter and rounder. It doesn't really follow the same kind of design. And this looks like it's the same brand. I would probably just thicken this, you know, thicken this up and just match the style a little bit more. Table looks cool. There's some little propping there. What's going on here? Mover beasts. I like it. So everything is very warm. Uh, there's some concrete here, which actually feels very. It feels very noisy in the grain, right? So, like trying to tone that down and just let the material kind of do its thing with the grout would help. There's a really sharp. This edge is super sharp and could definitely use more polygons just to kind of round that out more. Don't hesitate to I would bevel these and then like let's say your edge count here is like I don't know. Let's say it's like that. Double it. Just go for it. It's fine. Feels flat for bricks. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like it kind of like the normal doesn't really look like it's being derived from height information, right? So if you can get some like get these areas to be further in, a lot of it is just everything is just kind of oops. Everything up here is just kind of happening at the same height. So like the little indents here are as deep as the crevices, and then the brick is kind of just a little bit further forward, so everything is kind of a little bit flatter. The bricks have been rough. The normal is correct from Painter. I don't know how to fix the height in Blender. Oh, you're using a normal? Make sure that it's OpenGL if you're in Blender as well, and not DirectX. The plant I was gonna say is like a little perfect. Like I would go a little bit more wild with it. Maybe add a leaf down here because they just moved. It's hectic. People bump the plants. You know what I'm saying? And I would try and get some other color in here, like the light that's coming in. I would cool it off. Plant stress, man. If Blender added a way to make the normal flip, that'd be so useful. Just split the channels, do an invert on the what is it on the green channel, right? And then plug them back in and yeah, and then plug them all back in together and then output. More explanation for how you think we could cool it. I mean, the sky outside should be blue, right? So all ambient lighting coming in that's not the direct sunlight should be filling the space with blue ambient. And then also this wall here is kind of suffering the same that the brick is. It just doesn't feel like I know it's concrete, but it's not really. It's just really busy. Like it's not tiled enough. I would tile it like two more times maybe. The other thing too is you don't have very much roughness variation in here. So like you see a little bit of like a metalness or like a plastic here, but then you've got this material and then there's getting some other materials in here would be really useful. And I would really, man, I think the focus is the stairs, and I don't. It's really hard to understand the scene. It almost feels like the scene should be longer and the stairs should be just a little bit further back. But it's pretty cool. All right, Sal. Sal's got a motorbike. Let's do that. Bring this down here. Paste this here. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna close this because there's still a lot to. So that's closed up. Uh, Also, Juan. Let me just double check and make sure it's working. Okay, it's good. Never mind. You're good. You're good. Good. You good. You good. Um, we don't need this image. What we need is this motorbike. Is this coming through? There we go. It's quite an interesting motorbike. It's a post-apocalyptic scene I've made. Huge love for post-apocalyptic style and theme. One of the coolest examples I can think of is The Walking Dead. Browsing through Pinterest. Motorbikes. Okay, let's get into this. We have to keep on moving. So this feels really strange to me. I think it's a reflector, right? Figuring out the material on that is important. Uh, I'm not sure why there's a. I guess this is a jumper cable. Is in the back behind the motorcycle. Everything is very green. Yes. Uh, it's hard to read, and there's not a lot of areas for your eyes to rest. So the tire itself, roughness wise. Okay, hang on. This requires the RGB. Um, oh man, come on. Yeah, tiny milk crate too. Yes. Is this in the presentation? Please. There we go. Okay. So let's look at the modeling. So modeling wise, For a motorcycle like this, these handlebars go pretty far out, and the roundness here kind of looks like it was beveled here multiple times to try and get that rounding. The handles don't really match the style of the motorcycle, and so we'll just highlight this. We'll highlight this one. These spikes in the front, I think, need to be described a little bit more. Presentation wise, I think this image is just is a hard angle to be viewing. Man, it's crazy too because studio render, the studio render looks pretty good. Let's bring that in here really fast. There's a whole lot going on. The ratio of detail versus areas for your IS arrest is really intense. So there's not very many areas for your IS arrest, right? I don't think this is the. I don't think that's the high poly. Here, I'll show you the. Yeah, it's just really busy. The bike itself in general is pretty high poly. See, like I don't know what this is. It's just adding a lot of detail. These little lines here add detail for the reason of adding detail. So when you add these things, they need to explain to the viewer why they're there, right? This headlight, for example, is tilted upwards when it should be tilted more down towards the road. Um, the skull would probably. I like the idea of the skull being on top. It just needs to all be tilting more forward. The scale of the crate, like we were talking about, um, is something to be paying attention to. And all the materials just get lost. Like I'm not sure. Like if we go in and we just start highlighting material stuff, like I don't know if this is like a rubber. I don't know what this material is either. It's really dark. When we look at the crate, this has a very strange scale to it. That's my drawing skills for you. Um, Presentation wise, in this angle, is rough. Like you just can't see anything. This angle is definitely much better. Yeah, the materials are really noisy as well. It's very very busy, and all of the roughness is quite sharp. It's like the roughness is low value, so everything is giving you really sharp highlights, which is adding to the complexity. So yeah, it's overly shiny. Because when you look at this angle, this is more of a traditional angle that you would see a motorcycle at, so it's easier to relate with and understand. When it comes to the modeling side of things, this this whole thing here is really strange. I think it would be more like streamlined, right? This looks like you took you took the model, subdivided it, and then just grabbed this front piece and lowered this part, and then just beveled this and beveled this to try and like smooth that out. So streamlining a lot of stuff and giving your eyes areas of rest. Man, there's so many details that you're adding just to add detail. So it's really hard to read. From back here, it's not too bad. But with this type of material and the way that it's lit, it's super difficult to read any of this stuff. I like the idea though. Just remember any details you add, they need to have a reason. Like these look like they're kind of annoying or painful to be there when you're sitting on it. There's also an animation. Oh man. All right, hang on, hang on. I mean, this is much easier to read, but definitely the materials are just kind of, Yeah, the lighting is definitely more readable. This box in the back is bugging the crap out of me. It's so small. This is much more easy to read. Cup holder box. It's pretty interesting. The skull doesn't really feel integrated with the spikes as well. Like, are those being pushed through? Like getting some like drips or like rust or anything if these are metal like on the bone would be really good. But a really interesting asset. There's what I'm seeing is a lot of varied differences in the surfaces or in the way it's lit and presented. Yeah, the spikes felt too clean in the video, right? Okay, Han, you're up next. Hopefully that was helpful. I felt like I was pointing out every single, but that's what you want, right? You want to see everything. Okay, let's copy this one. Go. Ooh, resolutions. Okay, we're gonna have to hang on here. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. Uh, keep in mind the ratio of detail, right? Like we were just talking about. So if we go with the, so you've got a lot of detail here. Let's go into highlighter mode. Um, so high frequency detail, high frequency detail, high frequency, high frequency. Like all of this stuff kind of asks for it to be high detail, right? So make sure you balance that really well. Like there's even a little bit in there. Before you continue to detail all this stuff out, I would try and figure out the logic behind everything and how it's connected. Because you're just, I'm not seeing everything solved yet, right? So like where this bridge is, it just disappears into the trees. Maybe there needs to be some exposed rock that shows how it's connected to like a rock base, and then that just kind of goes down, and there's trees in front of that. Just seeing the logic and getting everything kind of locked in is going to help a whole lot. Dude, there's stuff going on way back there too. That's pretty cool. Kind of feel like maybe the camera needs to be a little bit higher so you can understand what's going on. Because I don't know, like, I don't understand what this is. I need to be able to, like, when you design stuff, people need to be able to look at it and understand what's going on within, like, a second or two. Like, if I can't tell what this is, like, my brain says, okay, maybe this is like a bridge thing. So these are, like, bridges that, like, they bend and they connect. But I don't know where the other one is. Is the other one off screen? There's this one back here. Maybe this one. Like, I don't know what those are right now. So being able to explain those, really important. Um, but yeah, I think other than that, I really like the idea that you're building here. Be careful with high frequency detail and solve all of your shapes before you go any further. Uh, and there's something, and be able to describe these really quickly. Like anything you invent needs to be, it's a barrier device. I'm planning on adding VFX to show. Oh, nice. Super cool. Yeah, I mean, as long as we see that, that'll help solve it. Definitely. Getting some variety in the trees might be good. I don't know that these types of trees look like they don't change. What types of trees are those? Can't tell. My brain wanted to say evergreen, but when I zoom in, it's not necessarily evergreen. I don't know. Birch. So we're not seeing too much of the bark itself, so it's hard to tell the. Does is birch? Man, I don't think I've ever seen something that crazy with birch. That's interesting. Gallo. What is good? It looks like you are blocking out a scene as well. Well, not blocking out. It looks like you're much further along at this point. Let's paste that. Looks cool. Got a reference to go with it. Let's go. There it is. Okay, so let's duplicate this. Double click. Just bring this in like this. We can look over here. So you're doing a pretty good job of getting the steps in here. You can see they're quite defined in the concept. So trying to get those to display clearly is going to be really important. There's a lot of like broken debris and pieces around, and the grass looks like it's kind of taken over. Um, where are we at here? Scale this up. You have this silhouette here, and this is kind of overgrowing onto the steps as well as on the other side. It's just kind of all happening and kind of consuming the stairs. So get a clear definition of where the edges are on each step, and then fill in the gaps between those to really push those details further. There's some discrepancies when it comes to like the heights of these. Let me check to make sure I'm not wrong here. So I can't really see. I need to lock this. There we go. Grab this. Yeah, there's a harsh angle here where it goes up. I think it's steeper than what you have. And then you've got some openings here. I would probably focus on your lighting before you go any further, and try and get this dark information that's up here. It's dark as well down here, and there's a lot of like water action happening. Right now, I think this is actually cut into the rock, and yours is very front surface. I would grab these rocks and try and build around it, kind of pull it forward. It's pretty cool though. And then I would really work on getting that green in there. Like in the shadow, it's quite blue. In the direct light, it's not as blue, but there's still elements of it. And then there's a lot of green everywhere. Right now, we're not seeing too much green in your scene, so keep that in mind. But this is looking pretty promising. What the hell? That scale is crazy. Are those people? I think those are. I think those are people. I think it's just really far away, and you need to like push the scale difference. What? I'm so confused by that. Is this a temple for ants? Anyways, this looks cool. I think those are people. And if they're not, I mean, I would go for it. Get that scale going. I think that's way more interesting. Okay. Oh, you've got another image. I'm gonna look at this one really quick, actually. Yeah, so this, I mean, this type of breakup is good. Look at that. You getting those edge decal normals in there too? Yo. Yeah, getting some breakup where it meets the ground and whatnot is would be really good. Cool. Okay. Christian, a kit blockout I redid this morning. Um, but it still feels like I'm struggling with basic scale issues. Haven't even touched lighting yet. Any advice on getting correct scale for total blockout? For a total blockout noob? Let's see here. concept. There we go. So scale, I mean, the scale doesn't look too strange to me. You can see how tall she is. That feels pretty good. Man, they really picked a low res image to pull that that image from for the pattern. You're super hardcore struggling. This is you, Christian. Mashup madness, dude. So true. Okay, so oh man, dude, there's so many weird things happening. Like this is closer to us, right? Then this goes back, and then this goes behind. This goes back further than this, right? But somehow this is it's a funny concept. Um, I'll be honest. I don't think there's anything strange about the scale currently. The concept might be messing with you more than the scale. So what I would do is I would when I'm looking at scale for things like this, what I do is I see if I can find a character, right? And then see if I can find like an averaged height that kind of works for that character. Then use that character to sit at the table, and figuring out the scale with that character is that's how you're gonna do it. So you can see like the space between here, the height of here to the floor. I don't think there's. I'm not seeing many issues with your scale right now. There's a lot of stuff happening outside of the space. Just so you know. Did you do this concept? Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. I mean, there's so much information going on there. Because yeah, when you look at this, it's still that's funny. Yeah, so I would look at this when you're trying to block out because this is just going to be easier to make sense of. And I would argue that there's just too much detail going on here. You need somewhere for areas of rest. Like this one's got areas of rest and detail. And with these, I mean, when you make these types of things, these are going to be pretty busy as well. So you could be all right. Yeah, I don't see any issues with yours. There's this, which looks like a higher platform or something. I mean, this is still interior. Try telling tech art that's not interior. It kind of looks like a stage, yeah. But I mean, I would just block out every single thing that you're needing, and then just walk around in it with your character and see how it feels to you, as well. But I think you're all right now. Just I just had a comment on the busyness of the scene. Let's just be really careful with how busy you make it. It can be doable. Just be conscious of it. Are your old streams about stylized scene building still online somewhere? Yeah, they're on the YouTube channel. Or are you talking about this stylized scene? This one. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so you would have to see those if they're not in the VODs on YouTube on Twitch, then you would need to go to the Patreon channel, and I think it's $1, and then you would get all of the videos. They're in order. They're all tagged as well. But that's where I store them now. Gordy, dude, good to see you, man. Okay, we've got, what is it? Two more scenes to look at, and then we are done. Two more. It's 10:06, but we're gonna go through those. So this one's pretty. This one's pretty impressive. You're getting a follow and a like instantly for this one. Let's copy this. By the way, a quick question: would you rate Miro over PureRef, or do they have both their uses? They have both their uses. I use Miro for most things. The only time I use PureRef now is to actually have it on top of a program. So like if you want PureRef on top of like your 3D viewport while you're working, that's the only time I use it now. It's a boat, dude. Look at this boat. That texture work is freaking spicy, dude. This looks super nice. It looks like you got some pretty nice masks there. I think let's everything except the lifesaver and the paddle, which are from Quixel. Dude, this is super nice. And by having a Quixel asset in there, and if you didn't say it and it just blends into the scene, that's like that's the SS Jack, if you know what I'm saying, man. Oh man, Sal, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I think when it comes to these like little smaller details, these ones, I'd be careful of adding those into the normal map. Uh, but I think so. What's making this look really good is not just the geometry. You have enough geometry to sell a lot of the shapes that you're showing here, but also, hey, dude, thanks a lot, man. 9 months as well. It's good to see you. Um, but you're using really good masks for removing the paint. And above all else, I think the thing that's making this look really good is your understanding of your PBR values. You have the correct values for the white paint, and your roughness is like freaking on point when it comes to like what we're looking at when it comes to the wood, the paint, the ropes, the metal. It all just kind of sings together, you know what I mean? If I had to focus on anything to feedback on, it's maybe these metal pieces being pushed a little bit more to be integrated and not so geometric looking. But really, really nice work. Maybe it could have a water line where you always see like where the water usually rests at, just a change in the color of the paint. But I honestly, I don't have too much to say about it. Oh man, this image. Look at that. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, this looks good, man. Maybe the rope is a little small. I don't know what the scale is on this. There's no location for OpenGL. It's just the type that it renders with. So like Unreal is DirectX and Blender is OpenGL. So when you're exporting a normal map, for example, from Substance Painter, you'd want to export that normal map as OpenGL, not DirectX, and then it would just work. You can also just flip the green channel and then you're fine. But dude, this is really nice, man. Really, really nice. You should be proud. It's one of the rare occasions where I'm down with the gradient in the background just being the way it is, because you're just like, bro, you're just zoomed in. All right, Justin, last one. Let's go. Let's go. What are you saying here, Justin? Justin Martin. First shot is the main shot of the scene, and I was wondering overall how the composition, colors, and lighting feel. For the second shot, in particular, I was going to have a stone statue next to the stone lantern, and have that in focus a bit more. Does the shot feel okay? Hang on here. Wait for it. Hey, no problem, Juan. Thanks for showing your stuff, man. It's really nice. Okay, so first shot, composition, colors, lighting, feel. So there looks like there's like a path here. I don't know about the stones being so. Oh my god, I'm okay. I'm coming for pancakes soon. Uh, um, yes. So the stones for the walkway. It's strange that they're above the snow. Do you know what I mean? Those shouldn't be like. Where are we at here? Like these guys, these shouldn't be like angled all crazy like that. Lost focus of the pancakes, dude. Pancakes, man. The new focal point. Um, and then these lanterns, right? These should draw your eye through the path. So wherever the path is, that's how the lanterns would like guide you, right? If you're not using a reference for this or like looking at many different shrines to understand the placement of these things, totally do that because you'll see how things are put together as well as like likely you can find a shrine like this with snow as well and you'll be able to see all the details that peek out of the snow also. That's why reference is so freaking paramount. You got to have it. And not just from like, okay, this is a scene I'm referencing off of. You're like, it's a shrine, right? It's got the lanterns. It's got the I don't know what these are called, but these are really cool. It's got this. Find as many references as you can of all of those because they will inform you about so many details about how they meet the ground. Tori, is it Tori? How they meet the ground, lamp like lantern placements, how the ground tiles work, like what's it look like when there's snow. You can find all that stuff. Thank you, uh, Vince. And then for this one, you were saying second shot in particular is going to be a stone statue next to a stone lantern. I have a focus on that a bit more. I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a very wide shot. I would probably pull back a little bit more so you get more of the snow in here. Then you have this, the statue that's here. I guess depending on what the statue is, will really tell us like how it looks compositionally, and then making sure that you get enough room above here. Oh, and I forgot to say with the lighting here, this is very warm, and same with these. I would try and find out what the Kelvin value is for fire sources, like these, like candles, and what's lighting this, because all of that should give you all the information you need. Snow on the roofs, yeah. Get some snow up here. Get some snow up in this area. Yeah, getting snow on these is going to be really useful as well, I think. Because it pulls it all together, right? Snow should be on everything. You get snow on the rocks as well. Snow on the little. Because see here, you get the snow clumping up on the sides. Maybe some snow built up here. And then it's like a frost on there. Maybe some snows here. Those are the types of. Snow is going to be your best friend when it comes to this scene. You got to like have it on everything. But yeah. Hopefully that was helpful. I think I need to get out of here before my pancakes get cold. That sounds terrible. Cold pancakes. What were you thinking? What? I don't know, man. Yeah, they're gonna be good. But look at all this great work you guys are up to. This is so awesome. Look at all this. So good. Ew, cold pancakes. Gross. Let's raid someone and we will get out of here.